It even tells you.
Make sure you are aware,
They make it
which I
official
appreciate.
now. That I've never heard that before, actually, either. I never heard the
Oh no,
recording in
interesting.
progress. Like, oh, okay, we're on. We are
Okay,
on.
so
We are
official.
live.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Welcome to Fit Talk with Coach Luis. If you're serious about getting fit, then this is your show. This is a podcast where fitness enthusiasts share all the ups and downs, the challenges, and the victories on their fitness journey. Now, here's your host, Coach Luis.
But thank you for jumping on, Ashley. That is very intense, having those type of shifts for, from coming from the Midwest to now where you are now in the Netherlands. And yeah, and like you said, like I also did the same thing when I relocated here to Naples. I am also it's about 800, or a little bit less square foot, and I came from a one bedroom apartment, so it still wasn't as much, but it's still a lot for that little bit of a space. So then to just adjust to that, it is a shift. And like you said, it's all about looking at the pros and cons, just seeing, okay, this is a little bit, tough, but how am I going to get through it? Because I am in a better place now and I'm around family versus how I was before when you were without the family. And again, like it's you and your husband. So it does help a little bit also to have the other person to kind of like, bounce ideas off of, and, kind of just, feel like you're both in the same place and you're both on the same team and trying to just help each other out. But
yeah, absolutely. It honestly, I think, unfortunately for many people, the lockdown condition seems to have made or broken relationships in many ways. And I feel very fortunate to say that it really has made ours. When you're in the thick of it every day, I hear him on meetings, he hears me with client calls, and you really get to know, when you work in different industries, it's very easy to not engage in what the other person is up to. And when you're kind of forced to engage in it and work together, he has the office, I work in the dining room, coordinating schedules. Like, we have to be intentional about our time together because we are with each other all the time. So where are those boundaries of like, I'm working, don't talk to me, versus like, oh, but now we're sitting down for like a date night to watch our movie, even though there was like 5 minutes in between those two things.
Yes.
But I think we have a much stronger relationship because of it. So I can't be unthankful for that.
That's good. That is good. And that's where you're looking at the positive side of things, and just then that part right there, I think, is really smart, to be intentional with your time. And also, I'm sure, giving each other the space as well, because like you said, if you're in those more confined quarters than you're used to, it's just very important to just have your me time, to be able to just disconnect and be like, hey, I'm just going to go for a walk real quick and just disconnect for a bit. And, not in the sense of stay away from me type of thing. It's more of I just want a little break. And it's just healthy to do that, and
absolutely.
Yeah.
I am 100% team take your own space. My husband and I have joked that we typically are very big travelers, so we like to travel a lot. Nice. But obviously lockdown conditions, and especially over here, have made that challenging. But this year things started opening up a little bit, so we've taken a couple trips throughout the year, but none of them together. So we always joke that like we're very much into vacations, just apparently not with each other right now. But I think after 18 months of living in the same space with only the two of us, both of us needed a little bit of that time to kind of, you have to process and digest everything that's happened as well. And sometimes it's difficult to do that in the proximity of other people or your partner, not because they're not supportive, but because it's too easy to kind of take on also how they're processing it. So we definitely recognize the value in having time apart. And I guess the what is the axiom, like distance or absence makes the heart grow fonder, and it's true.
It is.
So we come back together and we're really happy to be together.
It really is true, because then you're like, oh man, I wonder what he or she's doing, while they're on vacation. I can't wait till they get back so we can just talk and
Yeah.
share the trip they had. And it's not even a thing of, if you have that healthy relationship, you're gonna be okay with doing that because you obviously trust each other. You're more worried about, okay, I hope nothing happens to them on the trip. Like, I'm
Yes.
sure I hope they're fine. I hope they packed enough
Yeah.
clothes. Like that's what you're worried about, versus anything else. And then when they get back, you're like, oh my
Yes.
God, tell me about the trip. How was it? How did it go? And I think that's super important. It's so healthy. And then you have more stuff to talk about versus, like you said, if you're with each other 24/7, then you do run out of stuff in a sense to kind of like talk about, because you're not going to say, how was your day? You're like, well, you're right there. So
I heard it. I saw it.
I heard your day.
I witnessed your day.
Yeah. So it's nice to have that little bit of a break and a disconnect. I think
Yeah.
I'm all for that. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
how do you guys, you said you have to be intentional with your time. So how do you guys work that part out? Like, when he's going to be working these hours, like, do you change certain things that you do to accommodate that and vice versa?
We have been more intentional, like having a shared calendar so I can see like a big view of when he's in meetings. He can see when I have client calls, and then adjusting. For example, I have this call with you, so I'm in the main room of our apartment and he knows about it, so he's not going to come in here. So just being aware of each other's general schedules has been important. And now he has the option of working in a co-working space a couple times a week, which is also helpful for him, just a change of scenery. And it allows me to work on other work tasks that are easier to do when the house is empty. So we try to plan ahead of like, oh, which days are you going to the co-working space? Then I plan certain work tasks for those times, just so that it's easier for me to accomplish and not be in each other's way.
Yep, that's smart.
So.
That's really smart. Those are great pointers right there. So whoever does end up, seeing this, they can take little pointers like that to do that and just like, okay, cool, maybe a shared calendar. Even doing things that you normally would do before being in this situation, kind of mimicking as much as possible what you normally would do. Our mind needs that. Our mind needs structure. It needs that constant going. So you train clients now and you do a lot of coaching and all that.
Yes.
So give me a little bit of a background, like what got you into that?
Yeah. So I have been coaching online for more regularly for the last 2 or 3 years. COVID really kind of pushed my business into that part of the industry, which has been super cool. But it started out long ago in high school. So I've always been into fitness. I played a lot of sports growing up, grew up in the Midwest. So you kind of have to, I think, play sports.
It's part of it, yeah.
It's part of it. And I have two brothers, and they were always playing sports and I always wanted to be like them. So at least fitness and sports was always a big part of my life until I got injured. So I had a pretty serious injury my junior year of high school. And that ended up needing several surgical corrections. And it was actually through my rehabilitation and in the ortho clinic that I kind of got to see how big of an impact physical fitness and wellness has on your quality of life. I was in chronic pain for 2 years after that injury at a very young age, on pain medications and all sorts of contraptions that they rigged up to literally hold my shoulder into my body. And so my quality of life was significantly diminished. And after seeing the impact that these personal trainers and doctors were having on improving the quality of life for their patients, I knew that that was an industry that I really wanted to be a part of in some way. And so I became a certified personal trainer and I started working at 24-Hour Fitness in Denver, Colorado. And I had a fantastic mentor who really helped me understand the big picture of fitness and wellness and had a very similar philosophy that I did in terms of it not just being about physique or weight loss, but in terms of longevity and how we can prepare our bodies to live long, healthy, happy lives. So I got started there. Then we moved to Amsterdam, and I actually switched to a different industry. I worked in tech for 2 years, but fitness kind of kept finding its way back to me. I think my husband was my biggest advocate in the workplace, and he kept telling his colleagues, "No, my wife is a personal trainer." And so I would get these messages from these random colleagues of his that I started training on the side when I wasn't in work, and eventually it grew to be something that I couldn't. I had to choose. Do I want to stay in tech, or do I really want to come back to kind of my first love? And of course, always go back to your first love.
Absolutely. I love that your husband kept advocating for you, and he kept, being like, no, this is what she loves to do, and she's good at it. I'm going to keep telling all my friends. That says a lot about your guys' relationship, because it's not always, but a lot of times it's not like that. So that's really nice that you guys are doing that and you support each other. Obviously, you're a very good, strong team that supports each other too. So, like, good job to him for doing that. So
yes,
that's awesome. Helping you follow your passion. Yeah.
He's definitely been my number one fan, which
that's
I always
awesome.
Appreciate.
That's awesome. That's so important to have in a relationship.
Yes.
So how has it been going then since that? Like, so what kept on happening with your coaching? How did that shift then?
So I was seeing clients one-on-one in a more traditional personal trainer setting. It's very interesting to work here in the Netherlands because the regulations around and legislation around working as a personal trainer are very different than that in the US. So I'm actually able to work as what we would consider a freelancer. So I'm not working as a part of a gym or under anyone else. I'm able to work as my own entity and see and meet clients in public spaces. So I would train my clients in the public parks. I would train them on the side of a canal outside my house. I have gym equipment like barbells and plates and dumbbells that we use outside, which is just really fun. It's really fun to work out outside. Now, granted, the weather is not always accommodating to such practices, as it rains a lot here, but my clients are made of tough stuff, and we train in most weather conditions. So that is it's its own unique challenge, but is really fun. But I started taking on online clients when I had several of my clients from the US reach out to me after I left, and they still wanted to work with me. So I said, okay, well, technology being what it is, let's see if we can't make something work online. And that kind of was my introduction to online coaching. So it was a little bit out of necessity. I really wanted to help my clients out, and if they trusted me with their health from 7,000 miles away, I was going to do whatever I needed to do to make it work. And that was maybe 4 years ago. So it's been 4 years since then that I've just slowly been growing my online coaching clientele, and am now focused solely on online coaching because my clients get better results. They get better results, more long-lasting results. I can have a better overview of their progress, and it's just been a better format for them and for me. So I'm a huge advocate of online coaching.
Nice.
Now.
I like that. And it's true. It's this situation for this last over year basically has really shifted how we think that we can coach people versus how we used to think before. Before it used to be like, either it's on in person or there's no way I can coach. There's just no way it can happen.
Yeah.
We really have shifted a lot. And have you noticed more of your clients talking about how their mental health is? Have you noticed a lot more of that throughout some of the sessions you've been having? Have they talked about things like that?
Absolutely. So I think even before COVID, I think a major component of my online coaching is in regards to mindset and mental wellness. I have my formal education I have a bachelor's degree in psychology with a specialization in behavior change. So that kind of directly correlates with the work I do with my clients, because any fitness goal requires behavior change. It's just how we're wired. And so even before COVID happened, working with my clients on mindset it's a pillar of kind of my program, but definitely after. It's hard. This is kind of, I won't say it's unprecedented circumstances, but it is for our age, right? Like, never have we been so isolated while also having so much access to information at the same time. So people understandably are suffering from higher degrees of depression and anxiety and chronic stress, shifting their jobs, working from home, working from home with their kids who can't be in school. And all of these are huge strains that happened almost overnight. So it's definitely understandable that people would be struggling with how to mentally cope, myself included. I had several clients who actually went out on burnout from their jobs during this period. So working with them as part of their wellness team to help them recover from that has been really eye-opening for me as well, learning more about burnout as a clinical diagnosis and how to treat it and how to overcome it. So a lot of, honestly, COVID has built my business in a lot of ways, which you almost feel guilty for saying it that way. But in that it's given me a very quick access to learn a lot of things about humans and human nature and how I can use that to help my clients.
Absolutely. It's amazing how something that before used to be, like you said, almost overnight, it was just more of I'm just tired, I'm just a little stressed here and there. And then, but it continued and continued and continued. Then people were getting sick. They're like, oh, it just must be something else. Like, no, it's actually the burnout that's causing you all these symptoms. This is all part of it. But no one could really pinpoint it because there was never, like what happened now, a pandemic, to where now it's hundreds of thousands of people that are having the same exact issue. Now, oh my God, wait a minute. That's the burnout. That's what that is. And now it's an actual thing, which it always was, but there was really not a way to like pinpoint it. And so many people that we, like you said, us as coaches, we're supposed to be the ones to help people through that burnout. But we can also get burnout if we are constantly helping, because we're taking in all that energy. We're taking in all that stress, all of those symptoms. So it's just one person to them talking to you, the coach, but us, it's hundreds of people coming to us with the same exact information. So we get burnt out because we're like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of stuff I'm taking in. And then most coaches are empaths. So we try to just continue taking on, oh my God, I can help you. I can help you. I can help you. And then we get to that point where we're burnout because we haven't taken time for ourselves. So then here we go, going to a coach to do the same thing. So then it's like, what do we do? And that's where we get to that point of, okay, I need to take some time off. And we almost feel guilty about it. Like you said earlier, we feel guilty because COVID has really shot up what we do so much because of the importance of it. But I am also, in the same hand, so happy and fortunate to be in this position because we can really, now we've been almost even more empowered for people to reach out and help us and ask us for help because now they believe it. So at the clinic that I was at, there were a lot of people in the beginning that just felt like, well, it's part of the clinic membership. Sure, cool, I'll come check it out. It wasn't really a big focus in their journey, but after the COVID, it's been like
lines out the door.
Can I schedule a call with Luis? Can I do this? Can I do that? And then they just started seeing the importance of it. So yes, in that sense, absolutely. It was kind of a needed, that was kind of like sometimes some people need that rude awakening. And I really think this was it for people to understand, oh my gosh, what they've been telling us for years, what Ashley's been telling me for years, what Luis has been telling me for years, it actually is important. I need to change. I need to make these behavioral changes to be able to get healthier and get better, build up my immune system, take a work-life balance to be able to just, focus on what's most important. I don't want to live to be working, but I do have to work, obviously, to live, but that shouldn't be my main thing. And it's just all of those things is what we do. We teach people how to do all that. We teach people how to have more of that balance. And 90% of the time, it's always a work-life balance that is just completely off. And then under that comes all the other stressors involved with it. So it's been a lot. And I even took my own medicine, because once I relocated here, I took a leave because I was so burnt out. And it's they always say it's a curse to have, when you have not all this knowledge, because we're always learning, but it's almost a curse always to be, they always say like doctors are the worst patients because they,
they're too aware.
Yeah.
All the things they know.
So then when it finally hit me, I was like, oh my gosh, I am burnt. And I came to the conclusion, okay, I am burnt out. But I was like, I can keep going a little more. We always just we're always
a little bit.
Yeah. I can get over this, but we are all the same. We all need a break. So I've taken that break. It's been a month now, and I've been close friends and family, of course. I still, here and there, but honestly, it went from, that clinic had 4 doctors, each one about 400 patients, and I was the only wellness director there. So a lot of people. So it was too much. It was way too much. So
that's too much.
Taking a step back, and I finally now, again, it's been a month. Now is when I finally feel like I am getting back into a routine of things. Because I remember when we talked the first time, I was like, I'm moving, so definitely I would love to do after that. I haven't done anything since that time.
But that's good. I think like being able to recognize that, it was something I recognized in myself earlier in the year, and this year I just told myself that this is my year of rest. And it doesn't mean that I'm not working completely, but it does mean that I'm setting the boundaries I need to set so that I can service the clients that I do have at the highest possible level, given my capabilities. And I think when we're real with ourselves and what our capabilities are, there's a lot of fear in people to do that and to take that step of self-introspection, but there's a lot of freedom that comes out of it when you are able to recognize and admit, okay, I can't do this way anymore. This is not working for me. And then being willing to explore what other options are available to you and to pivot is really powerful, because you're taking back control. Things are no longer being done to you. You are getting to be an active participant in how you spend your time and how you take care of your own health.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the biggest thing I've been kind of like finding, like where I'm at again and resetting, So, and I just continue having a normal routine of, I get up in the morning, I'll do some type of journaling, I'll go for a walk, I'll start, we have where my parents live here, they have a lot of land. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna start doing some farming stuff. I'm a farmer at heart. So I love doing all that stuff. So I've been able to do more of those things. Yeah. Like we even got some chickens. So I'm helping my brother-in-law with projects here and there, like home remodeling. So that's kind of shifting my brain to rest in that side of things with the mental aspect of coaching. And I'm able to use more of my creative side with just letting that side rest and just focus on mentally rehabilitating myself, I guess. And it's been very interesting because I was the first 2-3 weeks, I'll tell you what, I was like lost. I didn't like it at all, because we're so wired, which is horrible. We are so wired, especially in the States, to just go 110% every single day,
all the time.
If you're not working 2 or 3 jobs, you're not doing anything. If you're not, if you don't have this and that,
you're not grinding,
successful.
What are you doing?
And then that's the thing. I'm like, yeah, but is it really though? There's such a distorted line there that it's like, no, you will be a better person and you will actually achieve more if you give yourself some time to rest. You can't keep, that's that old saying, you can't keep giving from an empty cup. But that's what we've been doing for years. So we get to that burnt out mode to where all we know is like literally running on adrenaline for years and years. And then when you finally stop, you don't like it because you don't understand it. I don't understand. It took me, like I said, it's been a month now and I'm just like, okay, I don't understand what to do. I need to go work. No, you don't.
Well, and it's not even, it's not even that we don't understand it. It's that is a habit our body gets used to as well. Our body gets used to running on that adrenaline.
Yeah, it does.
That is the normal, right? Our brains get caught up in that pattern of this is what is normal, and our bodies love normal. Our bodies love the known. Yeah. So even if it's running us into the ground, we'll keep running because the body knows what to do when it's running. It doesn't know what to do when we finally stop and rest. But I think to your credit, you're also employing an important lesson that I've only recently learned and identified with, in that rest is often, people perceive rest as stopping, right? Well, we just need to stop and rest. But true rest for our brain is not stopping, but pivoting. It's not stopping what you're doing. It's doing something different. It's doing something else. It's engaging in the creative, or in making things with our hands, or being in nature or movement. It's not actually just, all the time laying on our couch and not moving. That is rest sometimes, don't get me wrong. But when the things that I've learned in helping my clients recover from burnout is that actually some of the best things that you can do to recover and allow your brain to recover is to just do different things than your brain and your body is used to doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And just giving yourself that time. And that's when you recover. The only time we recover is when we rest. And that's where this whoop strap that I have, I've had it for a few years now. It's really helped me because I needed that help. I needed that help to understand, what am I doing wrong here? And it was that I was just overtraining constantly. And that's why I think any type of an activity device like that kind of shows you how your sleep is, are you sleep deprived constantly? That's going to also lead to burnout. It's going to lead to a lot of stress. It's going to lead to cortisol levels rising. It's going to lead to a lot of hormone imbalances. So it's all connected. It's, if you get one little small change, like your sleep good, that will change so much.
Change your life
so much. And then and again, we're all used to, either all or nothing, that people are like, they don't believe, wait a minute, just sleep? If I just fix that, everything will change? No, I don't believe it. So they don't do it. And then a few months later,
or they don't have time.
Yeah.
I don't have time to get more sleep.
Yes. And then they come back and they're like, oh, nothing's working. What's wrong? I'm like, have you worked on your sleep yet? I don't have time for that. I'm like, okay, then don't look for different results then.
Right.
Try it. Just try it. It's just interesting to me how it's something so simple. I mean, it's not really simple, but in that sense, something that we can just really work on. And like you said, it's all behavioral changes. So let's find the root of that.
To a degree that's in our control, I think, right? People are always looking for that magic pill, right? Everybody wants a magic pill that will make them better. Yeah. And sleep is going to be a struggle for most of us. It is for me from time to time. And some people have other underlying conditions that make it worse, or children that are that underlying condition. But to a degree, many of us have a little bit more control over our sleep. But we have to be willing to change our habits.
That's what I think it is right there. You hit the nail on the head right there. I think is we have to be willing and ready to make those changes, because if not, all we'll do is look for excuses because just not ready for it. And a lot of the people that I've worked with, a lot of times it's that, and then it has to just, something has to happen in their life to kind of like push them into that change, where they either have to hit rock bottom, or they have to, have had some type of a medical emergency or issue. Mm-hmm. Sadly, that's usually how we learn is through some bad experience. But
through necessity.
Sometimes they are. You're absolutely right. And sometimes, they, and then that's the kind of like where they get the shift with like, oh my God, okay, you know what? I got to get my stuff in track. I got to move forward. And then from here on, but they have to see it, they have to be knowing that they need that change in order for it to happen. And that's where I think it's so important to have coaches that really care, where they won't give up on the person, like if they're not ready to make that shift, okay, fine. But what are you ready to do then? Let's work on that then. If you're not ready to, go to sleep for at least 7 hours, but you're sleeping 5. Okay, well, what else can we do then to make you get a little healthier? Can you give a few walks throughout the day, little things like that? So
yeah, and I think it's one of the biggest blockers that keep people from action is actually their perception of how big the change needs to be to have impact. Because in our mind, we think, oh, like I need to get fit and I need to get healthy. So I need to go to the gym 5 days a week for at least an hour and a half.
Yes.
And if I don't do that, then I'm not going to get fit and healthy. And it's like, actually, if you're working a typical sedentary job that most of us in the US and in the Western world are working, then you probably just need to start with like a 10-minute walk. And that 10-minute walk is going to have a huge impact on your health and wellness because you're standing, you're moving, and it adds up, right? It adds up to over an hour of walking a week. So I think having the awareness to start small and build big is the biggest asset that people can have to improving their health and wellness. It doesn't have to be the big change, the big shift. Sometimes it does. If you have like a major medical issue that comes upon you and it's like, okay, you need to start eating better now so you don't have a heart attack again. Like that's a different circumstance.
Exactly.
But for most people who want to improve their health and wellness, it's really just in starting in the small things that they can control and building until they reach kind of that idea they have in their head, which will change anyways.
Yeah, absolutely.
It always does.
It always does. But you're absolutely right. And just those small little things, that's what's going to really help. Whenever I would meet with someone, it's always like, I just like to listen in the initial, just like, tell me about you. Tell me about what you're here for. What is your reason for this, all that. And then usually in there, you always start to pick out those little things like, okay, this is what they really want help in. This is what they really need. But then you do have to feel out, okay, are they even ready for this? But then at the end, it's always setting small little goals, even just, the craziest thing too is people don't really drink as much water at all as they should be drinking. So change that, and that'll really make a big shift too. So usually it's something like that. Drink at least 70 ounces of water a day. For someone that's not drinking like a cup or 2 a day of water, which just blows my mind. And then the walking, and maybe something simple as journaling before bed. Just making those small little shifts have really made some positive changes. And then that, like you said, that piggybacks onto other things to build on other big things that they could work on,
It
like
creates momentum.
It does. And like you said, the 5 days a week, hour a day at the gym, like that's not realistic. You'll be done in the 3 days you're done. I can't do this anymore. So just go 1 day a week. It's just something. Well,
and then people get so tired because they're all in for a week or 2 weeks. They're like, yes, I'm going all in, I'm doing this. And they get to the end of the 2 weeks and they're exhausted and haven't seen the results they expect because maybe their expectations around what their body can do in a 2-week period is maybe not aligned with what their body can actually do. And so then they get frustrated and then they say, oh, this doesn't work for me. I can't do this and I'm done. And it's just very unfortunate for me. And what I consider one of my biggest responsibilities as a coach is to help my clients set realistic expectations, to educate them on how their body works in relation to the different fitness and wellness techniques so that they can have realistic expectations and know that even if they're not seeing the results they want in the moment, that they're on the right path to get to them, and have patience because that's how it works. For all good things come in time.
That's right. It's just have patience. And that's going back to what you said earlier about all this, people are at home more and there's all this information out there. It's so overwhelming that that's where I think it gives a lot of people also that distorted mindset of, well, I went for 2 weeks. Why didn't anything happen? So it's also our job to explain to them that what you said, that realistic mindset of, it's, yes, you're doing great, but you have to give yourself some time.
You're doing great. Keep going.
Yeah. And like you didn't get to this point in a few weeks or a few months. This is years and years and years of habits. So you have to give your body that time to kind of break those things to then start even seeing more results. But it's and that's where a lot of encouragement comes into play. And I'm sure you do a lot of that too. And it's just, just telling them, don't give up, obviously, trust the process, keep going, and just one step at a time. So do you do a lot of, in your own space, do you do a lot of journaling? Do you do a lot of more like meditation, or what's your way of kind of taking a step back?
Every morning. So I have a list of non-negotiables that I decided are going to be a part of my everyday that get done no matter what. And I say no matter what in the context of the 80-20 rule, right? So none of us are perfect. So I know that, am I going to perfectly execute this every single day? Probably not, but that's okay. I'm going to give it my best effort. And those non-negotiables include reading and journaling and prayer every morning. It's the first thing I do when I get up. I take my journal and stuff with me when I travel. I wake up early and do it when I'm traveling. It's such an integral part of my morning routine. I also try to do it in the morning. It doesn't always happen in the morning, but I try to do it in the morning because I believe that the most important things get done in the morning. And if you can do the things that are most important to you right from the very beginning of your day is going to be better. And at least in my life, that's true. When I can start off my day checking off the things that I know that I've decided are most important to me, whether I enjoy them or not, then I feel better. The rest of my day is I go into my day feeling accomplished.
Absolutely.
And I think particularly, everyone is in a different place religiously or spiritually. So whatever your context is, I think that journaling is hugely beneficial because it gets our own thoughts out of our head. And one of the biggest things that my clients struggle with, that we all struggle with, myself included, is that we listen to ourselves too much and we don't talk to ourselves enough, right? So we listen to these thoughts in our heads as though they are the truth all the time, but they're not, right? I was reading a book by Dr. Nicole LaPara, which is excellent. But she talks about how thoughts happen to us. They are not of us, right? So we get to be in control of our thoughts. And at least for myself, I find that journaling is a really great way to get my thoughts out of my head. I have to look at them and then I have to assess if they are ridiculous or not, because a lot of times some of them are very ridiculous and you don't think they're ridiculous until you actually write them down and you look at them and then you go, really? This is what I'm thinking? Or you look at it and you say, oh, shoot, that's actually really valid and I need to pay more attention to that. So I think journaling is super important. And I encourage my clients to do a gratitude journal when they're struggling particularly with anxiety, is to start their day with listing 3 things that they're grateful for. And it just resets your mind a little bit. If you wake up super worried and anxious about something and you force yourself to think on a few things that you're really grateful for, it shifts your perspective a bit. And then you get to carry that into the rest of your day.
It really does. Those are great pointers. You're absolutely right with that. And using that mind shift to where if you wake up worried, like you said, but you're like, okay, wait, 3 things, boom, that completely shifts your mindset. To me, it's the journaling and the walking. But as soon as I get out of bed, it's making the bed. That's my first thing that starts me off with that task-oriented mindset. And then I can just do the rest of the day. It's so much easier. Like you said, it's one of those things too that sometimes you just, you overslept or you kind of you're rushing and you don't do it. And man, I will tell you that throws my day off. Now just not making the bed, I'm like, oh, I didn't do it. Oh my gosh. So it's so interesting where something as simple as that, but then it does make something in your head when you feel I didn't do my first task. Like, I need to do this because I want all my other tasks to get done too. So it's a nice way
Yeah.
of shifting thing. And of course, then, your bed is made. I mean, there's nothing nicer than that to me, to come home to your bed made. So little things like that. And just like we said, time to ourselves, so important. And
yeah, I think it's a good example of how one small task can reaffirm like a core belief about yourself, right? So I always tell my clients also that it's not about changing your behavior as much as it is about becoming the person you want to become, right? Like you want to become a healthy and a fit person. So what do healthy and fit people do? What are the habits of healthy and fit people? And if you have a core belief about yourself that I am a responsible person, and that making your bed aligns with that vision of yourself, then yeah, making your bed every morning is going to affirm that core belief that you have for yourself. And then you're more likely to take it into the rest of your day and be responsible with the rest of your tasks, as an example. But I think people underestimate the power of these small habits.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's just making your bed. It's not that big of a deal. It's like, no, but it can't be a big deal.
That's right.
If it's something that reaffirms like a strong core belief that you hold of yourself.
Right, absolutely. And it's just all that small progressive change. It's making those little things day in and day out. So yeah, it's true. It's so much that goes involved into our just kind of that behavioral change that we keep going back to. It's how do we shift that? How do we change it? One of the things I've been doing more of now, I've always wanted to do it and I just never got around to it because I was constantly working, was to do more camping, to be outdoors more, to do more stuff like that. And I got a book that is, the front of it says, "Not all those who wander are lost." So I always do, if I go with a friend or by myself, I'll always get a picture of the spot I was at. I'll get a little sticker of the park I went to, or parks, or the mountains, and then I'll put those in that actual book, and I'll put the date and the time that I went, and I'll just write what happened that day or that weekend I was there hiking. Like just to write it down, to me makes me feel like it's more real and it happened, and then I can look back at it and remember those really good times. And it's been so helpful to actually just take those little shifts and just times for myself. So same thing with everyone else that needs some type of a structure. Find what works for you. And if it's part of journaling that day, even if it's like your day, like you said, the gratitude journal in the morning, and then a reflection one in the evening of, did I do everything I was shooting to do for the day? And if you didn't, what happened? Like, why wasn't I able to do it? And how can I continue to make a small little change to make that then happen the next day? So it's all about just thoughts. And we have a series that's called Thoughts Become Things. And it's usually like, 4 of us, and we just literally just talk about what we were thinking about, how we can get past it, how we can get over it. And it's just, I think it's important to share that even us, with what we do, we all struggle with those things. We all struggle with those, times of I don't really want to do this today, or this and that. That's fine. Listen to it and take it in, but then how am I going to get past it? Don't stay in that mindset. Exactly. We're all human.
Right? We're all human. Yep. And the quest for perfection is a losing one, right? Like no one's ever going to find it. No. But being able to pivot, and I think really it's what you're doing. You're being intentional. And for me, that's kind of my self mantra is integrity, right? But that starts with me. Is I want to have integrity with myself, because if I don't have integrity with myself, then I'm never going to be able to consistently have integrity with anybody else. And integrity with myself starts with being real with myself, being able to have those self-reflections and be honest about, why I don't achieve things that I want to achieve, why I don't do things that I want to do. And not from a place of self-judgment, but from a place of understanding, so that I can pivot and make the changes I need to make me more successful in the future. And I think it's that fear of self-reflection comes from kind of our cultural fear of failure. right? So it's a very cultural norm that I grew up in, that I think my parents grew up in, that failure is bad, right? That it's something to be avoided at all costs. And I think we've dramatically lost something essential and useful in that perspective, because failure is a teacher. Failure is just how we learn how to get to where we're going.
That's right. That's right.
We're never going to hit anything perfectly the first time.
Yeah.
So it's hard work. Self-reflection, it's hard work.
It is. And I always say failure is always an option, because you failed at one thing. Okay, cool. Now I learned which way this doesn't work. Now, how else can I try it? Because if you never try that hard, if you never really fail, then I think you haven't really tried as hard as you can try something,
or the thing you're trying to achieve isn't that hard to achieve.
That's right. So
right. And how good do you feel unless you've had, like, the battle is part of that amazing feeling you have once you've achieved it.
It really is. It is so true. And in everything, it's not even with exercising, but in every aspect of life. If you're trying to build something, you're trying to do something, and it didn't work. Okay, let me keep finding little things. And when you do find it and it works, you put that together and it's functional. You're like, oh my God, look at that. I did this. I messed up a bunch of times, but I still made it happen. And that, I think, is a big part of growth. It shows us,
absolutely,
you know what, I can do this. What else can I do? And then it's
confidence building.
It is. But if you never try just because you don't want to fail, then I mean, that to me is failure. If you don't even try, at least try, and get some help.
You're letting your life be lived for you at that point, because you're living your life based on fears.
Yeah. And that's the worst.
And many people do it. It's not for me. I learned from a very young age that this was not how I wanted to live my life. And it's something that I try to encourage and instill in my clients throughout us working together, is that it's why I think fitness is a fantastic methodology for building mental fortitude, is because you have to overcome something physical. And in order to overcome something physical, you really have to be mentally engaged. And the number of my clients who come back and say that they are better partners, they are better in their workplace, they need to schedule their workout with me before they go to work, not after, because it impacts the rest of their workday. They're better they're better managers, they're better parents, because it builds and instills a confidence in them. That I think is uniquely done. Like, you can build confidence in lots of ways, but I think when you can pick up 100 pounds off the ground and put it back down, like, there's something that's like about that.
Absolutely. Not everybody can do that. Absolutely.
Not everybody can do that.
And then you're like, look what I did. And it's okay to feel that sense of accomplishment. Is good. Like, that confidence, embrace it, because you're doing something for you. When you go work out, that is only for you. That's for nobody else. That is for you and you alone. So you should embrace it. You should feel confident. That's right. You did it.
Like, we can coach them. That's what I tell them. Like, I can coach you. I can give you all the training programs that you need. But in the end, you're the only one that can do the work, which means you get full credit for the results.
That's right. Every time someone tells me, oh my God, thank you, I'm like, look, I am just a guide. That is all I am. You chose to do this, and that. I was just helping you, like, paving the way. But at the end of the day, it's your choice. You could have very well said, like, no, I'm good, thanks, bye. But you chose to show up. Yeah, absolutely. You chose to do that. And that is just a good feeling to see people grow. And then they're a completely different person, even like 6 months later, a year later, totally different person from the first person that walked into your life that first time for their first meeting. And that, to me, is absolutely huge. And that's why I think it's important for us to take our breaks, to be able to give 100% to them and help them get to that point. And I mean, had you not gotten to the uncomfortable, you wouldn't be here right now being as good of a coach as you are, because you would have probably just been like, oh no, I'm gonna this tech world that I'm in right now, it's stable, it has a consistent income, and it's sustainable. I think I'll just stay here because it's the safe path, which again, nothing wrong with that if that's what you chose, but you chose to be uncomfortable. You chose to push more, and you had a partner that was encouraging you and always had your back. So all of it just comes full circle. And then here you are coaching people. You got a little bit in the uncomfortable zone by doing the remote stuff, which is new for everybody. But you took it and you're like, all right, no, I'm going to make this work. Let's go. Yeah. And you did it. So that says also a lot about you. You're also practicing what you preach. So
I
job.
Try.
Yeah.
Right. I will not pretend to get it right all the time, but I do try. I take a lot of pride in that. If I'm going to expect something of my clients, then I'm going to expect it of myself.
That's right.
And that I'm going to practice what I preach.
That's right.
And it's also a catalyst for me trying to be as real with my clients as I can, right? Like we all have struggles. I have mental health struggles. My clients have mental health struggles. I have days when I'm not motivated. I have weeks when I don't go to the gym, right? I'm not this like crazy fitness anomaly in a box of always grinding. There are some people who are, I respect them, but I try to be as real as possible, so that they can set their expectations against it, right? Like it's all about setting those realistic expectations. And there's a great book by Ryan Holiday called The Obstacle is the Way. It's probably my favorite book that I've read this year. But it really talks about how, like, in our quest for comfort, we're really depriving ourselves of the circumstances that allow us growth and in the end, like happiness and the sense of achievement that everybody's looking for. It doesn't come without obstacles. Right. It's in the overcoming that we get to achieve these things that most people are looking for.
Absolutely. Actually, I use the Daily Stoic journal in the morning and the evening. Yeah. That's what I use because it gives me the mindset to get into for the day and the evening. And I love that. I love reflecting in the evening, and I've used that so much. Like I've gifted that to so many clients that I know are on that path, that need that are ready for it. And they also they love it because it gives them the structure, it gives them the guide. Okay, think about this today, or think about something else, but at least it gives you it kind of puts you in the mindset of it. So I do think it's so important to do that. So do you have any competitions coming up?
So I don't. My goal was to compete. I have not competed before. So I'm a closet powerlifter. I have never competed before. I had a goal to compete for the very first time in December of 2019. But as I prepared for that competition, I just wasn't ready. My lifts weren't where I wanted them to be. My technique wasn't where I wanted them to be. And then as luck would happen, the registration for the competition that I was intending to compete in decided to close their registration for amateurs. So then I wasn't able to compete to begin with. So I then just decided to dedicate myself to improving my lifts. So that's what I've been working on for the past, 18 months now, on and off, because the gyms have been closed for long stretches at a time. So I think in total over the past 18 months, the gym has been closed for 11 of them here. In like a 5-month stretch and a 6-month stretch or something like that along the way. So I bought a bunch of my own equipment. I bought a barbell, I bought plates. I've been deadlifting in my neighbor's garden, on the street, in bicycle paths. And then there was a length of time where my husband and I spent in the US during lockdown. And the gyms were open in the state that we were at, so I was able to train there as well. But I've added 20 kilos to my deadlift over the past 18 months, which has been super exciting, and 10 kilos to my bench. So not where I would like to be, but again, I'm a serial optimist. So I'm just happy to still be lifting at this point.
Absolutely.
And we'll be looking forward to a competition in the future, but not sure where that will land yet.
Nice. I love it. So give me little bit of info on how people can reach you. What's the best way for them to reach out to you if they would love to connect with you?
Yeah, so I'm on all the major social channels. I'm at Ashley_Poelhuis on Instagram. My website is ashleypoelhuis.com, and I'm on Facebook at Ashley Poelhuis as well. So honestly, like, shoot me a message on Instagram. I would love to connect with anyone and everyone, especially because it's like, one of my favorite parts of working as an online coach now is that I literally get to talk and work with people from all over the world. Amsterdam has over 180 nationalities represented in the city, so that's been really cool. So I just love connecting with people from all over the place, and sharing in their experiences. There's a lot of good that comes over being so connected in the world right now, and just like me and you being able to connect,
I know.
it's great. It's great. So
it's true. Like, these are things that probably would never happen, a couple of years ago. Probably just, there was like, oh man, they're so far. Oh well, and then that's it. You never probably speak to that person again. But this is nice. It really has shown us a lot of ways to be just more interactive with each other, and the world is getting a little bit smaller now to where we can all just be a little more connected. I think that's a beautiful thing,
And to support each other, in our community, is very cool to me. Absolutely. So as an entrepreneur, life can be very kind of lonely in your little circle of your own thing, but when you can reach out and connect to other people who are doing similar things than you that you are, then it's always really rewarding.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Thank you so much, Ashley, for jumping on. And I know we're like 7 hours apart, so it's getting towards the end of your day, but thank you. I appreciate
thanks so much for reaching out. This has been a fantastic conversation.
Likewise. And everyone stay tuned. I will post everything online as usual, and I'll put all her infos on how you can contact her. And reach out to her. So take care, everybody. And thank you so much again, Ashley.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for checking out Fit Talk with Coach Luis. Remember to follow us on social media, on Instagram at Live2Progress and on Twitter at Live2Progress. Stay tuned for more episodes of Fit Talk with Coach Luis coming soon. And remember, always live to progress.